Hey everyone, Alex Luke here. We are back for our weekly recap, and this week we're going to go over our attacks from the back. We spent all week in this position. By the way, right here now, I got to say thank you to Jason Reno, who picked up a night for me while I had to step out for my day job. Did an amazing job, lots of good reviews off that. Thank you, Jason. I would have him do the review, but he's not here tonight, so guess what, Jason? You got one coming next week, so we'll have you pick that one up as soon as you get back. So tonight we're going to look at one of the more advanced, I hate to use the word advanced, there's very little in Jiu-Jitsu that's advanced. Most of the time it is fundamentals applied consistently again and again and again at speed. However, some movements are more complex and require more fundamental movement than others, hence the advanced label. And tonight we're going to do some advanced attacking. However, one of the things I want to stress is none of that is even on the table if we don't use fundamental movement to get and hold our position to start with. So we're actually going to step back to last week's recap when we looked at the modified mount roll, and we're going to look at how we use that fundamental basic movement to start to attack the back. So Luke's going to start on his back. I'm going to start in mount position. And from mount position, there's very few places I can go where I can climb this positional ladder and get more aggressive. Rear mount is one of them. And we talked about last week how when he comes up for this knee elbow escape, I must have an answer, and that answer is my modified mount, so that I'm taking away this space and this need for him to attack and elevate. Last week we attacked here at the arm. Now we're going to go ahead and make use of this isolation and make use of the fact that he's already on the side to take back. One of the things we have to note is, from this point of isolation, Luke knows what's going on. He knows this arm's in danger. How easy is this arm for me to attack at this point? It's pretty difficult. But if I go ahead, sink my modified mount like we did last week, I get low. I bring my chest behind his shoulder blades now, and now I drive him forward with my core, not with my arms pushing, but with my whole body. When I drive him, notice what happens when I drive. Almost immediately, in an effort to stop this, everyone will bring this knee out. As soon as that knee comes out, that is a perfect time for me to drop my knee, readjust, and acquire my first hook. And now I'm really close to establishing that. So I'm going to go ahead and drive my weight over him while I'm maintaining base and open this space here. Now this foot comes in and I find my hook. I don't like to stay this high. I've established back mount, but this is a very weak back mount. From here I like to get my feet underneath me and kind of counterintuitively put my weight on my feet instead of on him. What that lets me do now is once my weight are on my feet, it lets me take these little steps back and it lets me sink my hips over his hips. Now I can glue to him and I become much more solid in my back mount position. So rather than riding high or having a difficult time transitioning back, simply lifting to my feet and then walking my feet back and letting my hips sink behind his makes this much more difficult for him to deal with as I tighten up. So now, when we start talking about attacking from the back mount, one of the first things people expect is probably me to start trying to choke. Very common. People expect this, it's difficult to attack. The next most common thing for me to attack is arm bars. So people start to get low, and if I start digging one of these collars, typically, this is a response you see. They put a shoulder down, they build a wall on one side, and now this is difficult. And we see people all the time fighting to try and wiggle arms in. Most of the time though, look what happens with his legs. Becomes much less structurally sound in his turtle position when he drives forward. So we're going to make use of that. As I dig this choke and he drives his shoulder to the ground to prevent that choke, I'm going to use that opening that gets created between his calf and his hamstring to drive my leg on his low shoulder side, whatever shoulder he drops. That's going to inform my decision on which way to go. As soon as that shoulder drops, I drop with it and I drive my leg on that side between his legs. I'm still using this for control right here, and as I come out, I'm looking to step over his calf with my shin. Still trapping here, I can still bail out of this motion at any time and reestablish a regular back mount. But from right here, I've already started our first application. So, from here, once I feel his calf and my shin, I'm going to let go with this foot comes over, and I'm going to use this momentum to drag my upper body and my arm all the way around as my hips drop to the ground, and I'm going to come to what's almost a backwards omoplata position. Arms draped over his back, I'm driving into his hips with my rib cage, and I should now be looking down at his calf the bottom of his foot, and at this configuration. Lots of things I can do from here. What I'm going to do is my favorite application from here, which is a rolling knee compression line. So, once I'm here, this foot comes back. I know if I want to roll and start isolating this leg further, I've got to go in this direction. I don't want to pull him back over me, I want to generate momentum. The problem is, if I try and push straight like a 9 o'clock position, he's got very strong base that way. And I see people turn and do all kinds of gymnastics trying to break this base. His base is good here, his base is good here. His base is pretty good here because I have to lift him all the way from there to get him over. Where his base is very weak is right here at this 7 o'clock angle. So, when I elect to conduct my roll, and I'm going to roll to generate isolation on this limb, I'm going to use my back leg, which I just weave right behind me. I'm going to push with my foot, and I'm going to come right up to my knee. That elevates me high and gets me ready to do a front roll. I'm going to be rolling over the top shoulder, checking this calf as I go, and I'm going to roll directly over that shoulder from here. Notice, pulling this heel towards me. I check this to make sure he can't base. As soon as I come over, I'm going to find this calf with my, this shin with my hand. Right now, I've got a lot of good isolation on this limb in a very weak position for him. The problem is, when I come out of this roll a lot of times, his hips are on top of my chest, on top of my rib cage. This can be difficult. So, I'm going to use my laces to control him, and I'm just going to lift him off and slide my chest to the side. If I lift him back on, it's very hard for me to shrimp with his weight on me. But if I lift his weight off and then slip out while that weight is up, this becomes very easy. Again, trap the shin. Some debate here about whether I should triangle the leg or not. This is very secure. However, if I start pulling this down, you'll notice if I don't have anything here, this lever arm just continues to move my blocking, my fulcrum down. If I put a triangle on here, I've secured his femur, but the same thing happens, and I have to pull a long way. So what I want to do is take my knee and put it on the inside of my ankle. Once it's here, you'll notice when I start to move this lever arm, this leg doesn't go anywhere. And that's like putting a chalk right behind this joint. And if we look at the joint here, if I put a big ball or a big rock right here at the joint where it can't bend past 90 degrees, but then I force those lever arms together, what happens to that joint? That joint angle pulls apart. And that's what I'm doing by pressing my shin into the back of that knee. I'm making sure that that knee can't close. So now, as I walk out onto the lever arm, I don't like to be down here because it's a shorter lever arm. As soon as I get out here and I lift, you see me drive my hips. I'm actually pushing that shin deeper into the knee joint, and now I'm just going to expand that joint across that shin. And I'm compressing that joint open, and I'm just pulling on all that ligament structure to make it expand. And this is where the pain for the submission comes from. So, one more time. Kind of a pace. Farther rolls up. Make your transition. I drive him forward. I catch my back mount. As soon as I'm here, I attack and he drops his shoulder. I'm coming through with my leg, setting up, driving through my front roll. Once I'm over, applying the compression lock to the knee. So, Friday night, it's our fun night. It's a more quote-unquote advanced night. One of the attacks we applied from our back mount this evening. So, thank you very much, Luke. Guys, check out the rest of our content. Like and subscribe our channel, share us around, and check back in next week where I'm going to try and wrangle Jason for an evening, and he can break down technique from next week. So guys, thank you very much. We'll see you next week.